السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد. Respected brothers and sisters, we continue today with Ahkam al-Siyam, Ahkam Ramadan, the rulings of Ramadan and the rulings of fasting. Last time we had the first lesson and we looked at certain issues. One of them was the definition of fasting. I don't know if anyone can remember what fasting means in Arabic. Anyone who attended? No one, okay. So fasting in Arabic means to refrain from something or to stop doing something. So for that reason we call it fasting in the Sharia, because we, as you understand, refrain from eating, drinking and other things that break the fast from the time of Fajr Sadiq until the time of Maghrib, with the intention of worshipping Allah. That's the definition of fasting in the Sharia. So who remembers what Fajr Sadiq is? Because we have two Fajr. One Fajr is false, one Fajr is true. In Arabic we call it Fajr Kadhib, Fajr Sadiq. The word Fajr is also Arabic, in case you didn't know. Okay, yes brother, you can try, no problem. If you make a mistake, it's not an exam, alhamdulillah, you will survive, no problem. You can survive till iftar at least. The white thread. Yes, correct. And that white thread of the daylight that's coming has been mentioned by Allah in the ruling of fasting, correct? In Surah Al-Baqarah, He said, eat and drink until the white thread becomes visible from the black thread of Fajr. So that is Fajr Sadiq, now. Also we mentioned the hukum of fasting of Ramadan, which everyone knows is obligatory upon the general body of the Muslims. Another thing that was mentioned was the different types of siyam. And for example, we know the fasting of Ramadan, but we also have kaffarat, expiation for some sins, and also we have vows. If someone vows to fast, then that becomes obligatory for them to fast. These are the obligatory ones. And also qada Ramadan, of course, is obligatory. To compensate Ramadan is obligatory. And later we looked very, very briefly, very short, in a very short way at fadl, the virtue of Ramadan and the fasting of Ramadan. Another point that was mentioned was the conditions of fasting. And I will briefly mention them: to be a Muslim, to be baligh, to have reached age of puberty, and of course we should teach our children to fast before that. Third is to have aql, meaning not to be mad or mentally disabled. And fourth is to have health that enables you to fast. Fifth is to not be a traveler, in which case you have a choice. Sixth is not to be in menstrual cycle for ladies or postnatal bleeding. In Arabic we call it hayd wa nifas, al-hayd wa nifas. Nifas being postnatal bleeding. And these things are very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made ladies and girls to have menstrual cycles in order for them to be able to have children. And of course without children, we can't continue our line and our people. So for that reason it's very important for us to know the ahkam of hayd and nifas, not to look down upon it. This is part of our deen. Another issue that we looked at was how we know that Ramadan has arrived and how we know that Ramadan finishes. And the sixth mas'ala issue was the time of the niyyah, of the intention before fasting, and the hukum of it. Of course, we mentioned a few things in relation to that. Those of you who didn't attend, I strongly encourage you to attend, because first of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised those who have ilm. We call them ulama. And if you have ilm of one issue, you can be alim in that issue. The ulama, of course, the scholars, we call those who have a lot of knowledge about different issues, but you can have ilm about fasting, for example. And that's a great thing in the sight of Allah, because you know how to fast. Secondly, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever Allah wants to do good to, He makes him understand the deen, or He makes him have fiqh of the deen. And fiqh of the deen is one of the greatest ni'mah that you can have from Allah. Thirdly, even if you know everything we're reading, which I find hard to believe, then you will revise. And without revision, knowledge can never stay. If you don't revise Quran, if you don't read even Fatiha, you can forget if you don't read it. And if you don't hear it. So for that reason, if we don't revise constantly, the reason we know Surah Al-Ikhlas, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, is because it's very short and we keep revising it. And the reason we don't remember Al-Baqarah is because it's very long and we don't revise it as much. So revision is very important. And also, of course, we as men, we have a responsibility to our families, to our wives and children, to teach them the obligations, at least the wajibat. So fasting of Ramadan is one of the wajibat. Today we have Al-Babu Thani, the book I'm going through, in case you're wondering. It's called Kitab al-Fiqh al-Muyassar. It's fiqh made easy. It's available online for free. You can download it easily in a PDF form. في ضوء الكتاب والسنة, in the light of the book and the Sunnah. It's just, book has a special feel, even though you can get it on the phone and pads and things like that, but book is a different thing. So today we have Al-Babu Thani, the second chapter, في الأعذار المبيحة للفطر ومفطرات الصائم, which is entitled, and this number of authors, I forgot to mention, نخبة من العلماء, no particular author as such, but it's a group of authors. جزاهم الله خير. في الأعذار المبيحة للفطر means those things that allow you to break the fast during the daytime of Ramadan. ومفطرات الصائم, and those things that break the fasting if you do them. وفيه مسألتان, and in this chapter there are two issues. The first one is the excuses or the things that allow you to break the fast. المسألة الأولى الأعذار المبيحة للفطر في رمضان. يباح الفطر في رمضان لأحد الأعذار التالية. It's permissible to break the fast in Ramadan due to one of the following reasons. الأول المرض والكبر. The first is being sick or ill and being old. فيجوز للمريض الذي يرجى برؤه الفطر. So it's permissible for anyone who is sick, and we will see now it's coming up what kind of illness allows you to break the fast. So it's permissible for an ill or sick person who hopes to be cured, meaning that we don't have someone sick with what they now call incurable diseases, meaning they don't know the cure yet. So it's permissible for him to break the fast, and if that illness is curable, فإذا برئ وجب عليه قضاء الأيام التي أفطرها. Then when he gets better and he gets well, he has an obligation to fast, to compensate the fasting of the days during which he was ill or sick. لقول الله تعالى, because Allah said أياما معدودات. Ramadan is أيام معدودات, just number of days. فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. So whoever among you is sick or traveling, then he should compensate the same number of days from other days, meaning other than Ramadan, after Ramadan. And also Allah said, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ, and whoever sees the crescent, he must fast. وَمَنْ كَانَ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرْ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ. So it's the same, and I repeated it after one ayah, that whoever is sick or traveling, then he should compensate other days. وَالْمَرَضْ الَّذِي يُرَخَّصُ مَعَهُ فِي الْفِطْرِ هو المرض الذي يشق على المريض الصيام بسببه. So what kind of illness allows the person to break the fast is the kind of illness that makes it hard for the person to fast. And of course this differs from person to person. Someone may have headache and he is breaking the fast. And someone may have toothache or something and he say, no problem, I can fast. If you want to take out my tooth, no problem, I will continue fasting. Because that in itself doesn't break the fast. If you go to the dentist and he doesn't do anything, يعني if you doubt, because a lot of ulama consider the anesthesia, which is local, for example, makes you not feel the pain, they don't consider it to break the fast. Some consider it to break the fast. So if you doubt, you can say to the dentist, no problem, I'm fasting, I'm today Superman, you can do my tooth without any anesthesia. Because most of us, when we actually go to the dentist, already we feel sick before we enter the whole thing. And some, alhamdulillah, they feel very happy to be at the dentist. So in that case, in terms of the illness, the people are all different. So, and even ladies, we will inshallah come to that. Some women, they can fast even when pregnant. They don't feel bad or sick or anything like this. If someone says, well, the child may feel sick, when the child inside feels sick, the lady feels sick. Because the child doesn't have a separate supply of anything. So if the child needs something, the lady will straight away need it. That's how it works, alhamdulillah. So there is no dhulm to the child in that case. أما المريض الذي لا يرجى برؤه, as for a sick person who has a permanent illness, أو العاجز عن الصيام عجزا مستمرا كالكبير فإنه يفطر. Or someone who is not able to fast all the time, like someone who is very old. We will wait, inshallah, until he gets younger? No, it's not going to happen. So that person, if he once couldn't fast, generally it will continue like that, and maybe even get worse. So of course he's allowed to break the fast. For what reason, ikhwan, are these people allowed to break the fast? Anyone know? If a non-Muslim says, why can they break the fast and everyone else has to fast? What do we say? Because if you live in a non-Muslim society, you have to be prepared to defend your deen and defend yourself and defend your... Naam, yes, brother. Yeah, rahmah, because they can't fast, they can't kill themselves. Correct or not? Or is it okay to kill yourself and be shaheed of Ramadan? What do you think? You choose shaheed or fast? What's better? Fast, of course, because Allah said, لا تقتلوا أنفسكم. Don't kill yourselves. إن الله كان بكم رحيما. This is qaida in Islam. This applies not only to women, because Allah mentioned about killing yourself about women. In Surah An-Nisa. Don't kill yourselves. Indeed, Allah is merciful to you. It applies to anything. Don't kill yourself in anything. It's not allowed in Islam to kill yourself or make damage to your health. Do damage to your health. So this is qaida. This is one of the greatest principles in Islam, that you don't kill yourself. That's why Allah, when He was talking about fasting in Surah Al-Baqarah, what did He say? يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمْ الْيُسْرِ. What is yusr? Ease. Allah wants ease for you. وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمْ الْعُسْرِ. He doesn't want... He could have said, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرِ and stop. Allah wants only ease for you and stop. That's clear already. But He added, He doesn't want difficulty for you. So therefore, sometimes people say, don't repeat yourself. Sometimes it's necessary to repeat yourself or to say it in a different way, to show emphasis. And this is from the balagha of the Quran. فَإِنَّهُ يُفْطِرُ وَلَا يَجِبُ عَلَيْهِ الْقَضَاء. So they can't compensate. If they're ill permanently or they're sick, I mean they're old permanently, of course they can't compensate. وإنما تلزمه فدية. They have to do fidya. Fidya we will see now. بأن يطعم عن كل يوم مسكينا. For every day that they didn't fast, they must feed one person who is miskin, and we will define miskin. For every day, once until they are full. لأن الله سبحانه وتعالى جعل الإطعام معادلا للصيام حين كان التخيير بينهما في أول ما فرض الصيام. At the beginning, when fasting yet, Ramadan wasn't yet obligatory to fast, Allah made, and it is mentioned in the beginning of the ayat of Siyam, that whoever can, he should do fidya. Allah said, fidyatun ta'amu miskin. And this was choice between those who want to fast at the beginning and those who want to do fidya. So if you didn't want to fast at the beginning, you could have done fidya. So here they said that those who can't fast, they should do fidya, because both are mentioned in the Quran, and for that reason we should use it. فَتَعَيَّنَ أَنْ يَكُونَ بَدَلًا عَنْهُ عِنْدَ الْعُذْرِ أي عنه عن الصيام. So because Allah said it at the beginning, then it can be a replacement for fasting for those who cannot. So who is miskin in Islam? Who can tell me? The secret is in the ayah of Zakah in Surah At-Tawbah, ayah number 60. Who remembers? إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين. Okay, so we want these two categories, فقراء masakin. So when we mention Islam, Iman together, they mean separate things. When we mention them separately, they mean one thing. What does it mean? The ulama call it إذا اجتمع افترقا، أي إذا اجتمع لفظا افترقا معنى، وإذا افترقا أي لفظا اجتمع معنى. So when we say Islam alone, it includes Iman. When we say Iman alone, it includes Islam. But when we mention Islam, Iman together in one sentence, generally Iman means the belief of the heart, whatever we believe. And Islam means the things we do with our body. The same applies to Faqir Miskin. When we mention Faqir Miskin together, and we see it in the Quran, like in the ayah of Zakah in Surah At-Tawbah. Tawbah, which number surah? Who knows? Surah number 9, correct, very good. And ayah number 60. This is where we are told to put the zakah. 8 categories of people. One of them really doesn't exist now, which is the slaves. And it's good to know that. So fuqara masakin have been mentioned together in this ayah, which means that the scholars made a distinction between those two. They said, and some said different things, but they all agreed that one of them is more poor than the other. One of them has nothing, the other has something which is not enough. So miskin doesn't mean you have to look for someone dying of hunger. No, it doesn't mean. If you can't find that, you can find any brother or sister, if you're a sister, who has something but not enough. A lot of brothers can come under that. Like someone told me once, you can't give zakah to this brother. I said, why? He said, he eats ice cream. So he said, ice cream costs £1. Any poor person can eat ice cream. Okay, that's an expensive one. If you find a cheap one, 20p. What does it mean? Ice cream, يعني Allah mentioned, who eats ice cream, don't give zakah. A'udhu billah. So we have some local muftis. I call them muftin. They make fitna more than they give fatwa. So in Islam, someone who doesn't have enough, he should be given zakah also. For example, we have a brother who is very brave. He has 4 wives. And he has enough money for 2. So most of the so-called muftins, They'll say, A'udhu Billah, let him divorce 2. Why should he keep 4? Okay? But Allah doesn't say it. Allah says, give him for the 2. Because our hearts are hard, we don't have much rahmah, unfortunately. So if I don't have 4, why should he have? A'udhu Billah. That's what many brothers think. Naam. And some think, mashallah, he has 4, Allahumma barik. Allah put barakah in him. And okay, now we help, later he will, mashallah, manage. That's how Allah wants us to think. So, miskin can be one of those things. يقول الإمام البخاري رحمه الله. Imam al-Bukhari, of course, we studied some of his book, Kitab al-Riqaq. We didn't finish it, inshallah, hopefully we'll finish it. But he has Kitab al-Siyam in his Sahih. There he said, rahimahullah, وَأَمَّا الشَّيْخُ الْكَبِيرُ. Sheikh Kabir means old man. إِذَا لَمْ يُطِقِ الصِّيَامِ. If he can't fast, فَقَدْ أَطْعَمَ أَنَسٌ. Then we have a narration that Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu, بعدما كبر عاما أو عامين عن كل يوم مسكينا. So we take this hukum from the Sahaba. Anas and Ibn Abbas will come now. When Anas became old and he couldn't fast, he 1 or 2 years he did fidya. And he used to collect 30 people at once and feed them once, and that's it. وقال ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما في الشيخ الكبير والمرأة الكبيرة. And Ibn Abbas said about an old man and old woman, لا يستطيعان أن يصوما, who cannot fast, فليطعما مكان كل يوم مسكينا. Then let them feed for every day a poor person. فيطعم العاجز عن الصيام عجزا لا يرجى زواله. So these people, بمرض كان أو كبر عن كل يوم مسكينا. So how much to feed? يعني here we are given what the scholars said, and then I will give you what is more realistic. نصف صاع من بر أو تمر أو أرز أو نحوها من قوت البلد. 1.125 kilos, if we put it into kilos, half sa', which sa' doesn't mean anything to us now, from what is eaten generally as a staple diet in that country. Generally rice everywhere, I think, now. نعم. And the scholars said of our time, if you collect like Anas did, Anas bin Malik, he did like that. If you collect, if you can't do 30 at once, okay, you can do 1, no problem. You have fidya for Ramadan or some days of Ramadan. Then you can make them eat a meal that will make them satisfied and full. So that's enough. هذا وإن صح عفوا وإن صام المريض صح صيامه وأجزأه. Let's say we have a sick person who doesn't listen to the advice of the doctor. He wants to fast. His fasting is acceptable and valid. الثاني السفر. Another excuse that allows us to break the fast is traveling. فيباح للمسافر الفطر في رمضان ويجب عليه القضاء. So the musafir, traveling person, can break the fast if he wishes. When can he break the fast? Here they didn't say. When he leaves the houses of the place or the city he's in. Some ulama said, because we have a narration I think from Anas, that as long as you have the intention to fast, to travel that day, you can break it even in your house. This is the opinion of in our time of Sheikh Al-Albani rahimahullah, and he wrote a little booklet on that. And he didn't use his own mind, but he brought a narration of, I think, Anas, if I'm not mistaken, who did so in Ramadan when he was traveling. If you doubt, do so after you left the houses of, for example, the city or the village you're staying in. When you're traveling. And of course, the ayah is the same that we said about the ill or sick person. Allah mentioned traveling as well. And also the Prophet ﷺ said, وَلِقَوْلِ النَّبِي صلى الله عليه وسلم لمن سأله عن الصيام في السفر. إن شئت فصم وإن شئت فأفطر. Some of the Sahaba asked the Prophet ﷺ, I travel a lot, should I fast? He said, if you wish, fast, and if you wish, don't fast. So he gave it to him. وخرج إلى مكة صائما في رمضان. And the Prophet ﷺ, where did he live after Hijrah? Medina or Mecca? Or London? To wake you up, because I don't see much movement. I know iftar inshallah soon, but Medina or Mecca? Medina, alhamdulillah. So he went from Medina to Mecca fasting in Ramadan. فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ الْكَدِيد. Kadid is closer to Mecca than to Medina. So when he reached Kadid, Al-Kadid, he broke the fast because he saw that people are suffering. So for them, he broke his fast. He can fast, no problem, the Prophet ﷺ. But he knows that if he fasts, they will want to fast like him because they want to follow him. So he broke the fast and the people broke the fast with him. So this shows that you can start fasting and then break the fast if you want in traveling. No problem. And we have other muftins, like I told you before, they give fatwa and they do fitna. They say, A'udhu Billah, brother, you're traveling now in air-conditioned car, plane, train, not allowed to break the fast. Ya akhi, you must fear Allah. Allah says you can break the fast. You're saying, don't break the fast. You must fear Allah. He didn't say, if you have air conditioning, don't break the fast. And if you have no air conditioning and the camel is smelly, break the fast. He didn't say like this. So what Allah didn't say, don't say, have adab. Have adab with Allah. You don't want your father to say something and you go against your father's saying. You must respect, we all must respect Allah more than our fathers. So for that reason, don't listen to them. We have so many muftis now. Every day we get on WhatsApp new fatwa. For almost everything. New fatwa, new this, new... Brothers, if you don't send this to 10,000 people, something bad will happen. A'udhu Billah, who said? And brothers, get rewards, send. If you don't send, stressing out people. Yani all I'm supposed to do to press the button all day. Send, receive, send, receive. I have nothing else to do. That's why when people include you in groups, look which groups you are in. Because some groups don't stop sending, they don't stop ping. Can drive you mad before iftar. So look which groups they include you in. Maybe you don't want to be in that group. And you have a choice, ikhwan. You're not supposed to be in a group you don't want. People shouldn't pressure you. Alhamdulillah, Allah gave us freedom. Please don't take it away from us. Work, study, groups, anywhere. Yani I can pray in any masjid I like. Don't force me to pray in one masjid. Okay? So for that reason, Allah gave us freedom and don't restrict it. نعم ويباح الفطر في السفر الطويل الذي يباح فيه قصر الصلاة. Of course, safar generally means the traveling in which you are allowed to shorten the prayer. وهو ما يقدر. Here they said by distance, so I will read it. وهو ما يقدر ب48 ميلا أي حوالي 80 كيلومترا. Around 80 kilometers, and they said 48 miles. I'm not sure if it's these miles or other miles. And that is the opinion of, as far as I remember, in terms of traveling. What is traveling? That's the opinion of the four Imams, including Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, added more a bit. I think 150 or 180 kilometers. Some ulama, like Ibn Taymiyyah and others, rahimahullah, who came after the four Imams, they said that we don't have an authentic hadith in relation to that. For that reason, we must look at what people consider to be traveling. So if you come from a country where they follow one of the 4 madhabs. Because we get this issue all the time, not only about traveling, but about divorce, marriage, and all many things. Let's say you come from a country where they say our madhab officially is Maliki. Not only in North Africa. Where I live, the madhab is Maliki officially. That's in quotes. So do we say to people, no, don't do this 80-kilometer rule? No, we say, do, akhi, relieve yourself. You travel 70 kilometers, you don't consider yourself traveler, no problem. Because he is from the general public. If we say to him, no 80 kilometers, just see what people think. You say, which people think? Everyone is jahil, like me. He will say, for example, what do you think, brother? Is traveling? One will say yes, the other no, the third one something. He will get confused. We say, if you don't want to get confused, follow the madhab. Yani Imam Malik is Imam of Sunnah or Imam of Bid'ah? Imam of Sunnah, of course. And all the other 3 Imams, rahimahumullah. So for that reason, if we fear that people will, even if we believe, and I know many sheikhs now, they believe this. They take the madhab of Imam Ahmad, of Imam Malik, Shafi'i, Abu Hanifa, rahimahumullah. Many ulama on the Sunnah, they take this rule of 80 kilometers. And maybe even 100-something kilometers. So no problem. Yani our hearts should be generous enough not to make it a problem. Because this is a saying of great Imams of the Sunnah. They didn't take it from nothing. Even if you don't agree, no problem. But respect the ulama. والسفر المبيح للفطر في رمضان هو السفر المباح. The ulama differentiated between safar mubah, safar ma'asiyah. Yani safar mubah for anything that's allowed. For example, I'm traveling to get a job. Is it allowed? If the job is halal, it's allowed. If the job is haram, not allowed. I'm traveling to get married. Is it allowed? I mean, in Ramadan, it's a bit difficult, but if you have to, it's allowed. Just don't do the walima during the daytime. Yani if you can wait after Eid, is much better for everyone. But if you can't, it will be fitna, but it's allowed. Or you have to travel somewhere for a long time. So, safar mubah. فإن كان سفر معصية أو سفرا يراد به التحايل على الفطر لم يبح له الفطر بهذا السفر. And if it's safar traveling for haram, يعني I'm going to collect my money which is earned in a haram way. This is haram. Or if it's traveling that seeks to go around the rule of fasting. Today I don't want to fast. Let me travel to Lafbara because I think Lafbara may be traveling. And I will eat in Lafbara and come back. For example, يعني his niyyah is not to do something in Lafbara. His niyyah go to have some fried chicken and chips and come back. It's not correct. Because he wants to break the fast. He doesn't want to fast. So that is what they mean by تحايل على الفطر. وإن صام المسافر صح صومه وأجزأه. And if the traveling person decides to fast, of course it's valid. لحديث أنس رضي الله عنه, because Anas said, كنا نسافر مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, we used to travel with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, فلم يعب الصائم على المفطر ولا المفطر على الصائم. Look how the Sahaba used to be nice to each other, ikhwan. Not like now. A'udhu billah, you're fasting. A'udhu billah, you're not fasting. In traveling. Some of them used to not fast. Meaning eat in front of the others, or not. And all fasting, they don't eat. What's the point of fitr then? We might as well fast. So they maybe eat in front of them, drink in front of them. The others are okay with that. Because they chose to fast. They had the chance not to fast, correct? They chose to fast. So why are you going to blame someone? You chose it. Alhamdulillah. You fast. He chose not to fast. No problem. And if we have all this which is permissible, why we make problem? Once I was in a lecture and I had to drive 2-3 hours there. So I didn't fast because I was very tired. So I said to the brother, I would like some water before the lecture. He said, no, I will not give you. I said, why? He said, you're not supposed to drink Ramadan. I said, brother, I'm traveling. He said, no problem, wait till iftar. I said, okay, alhamdulillah, before we break our fast by fighting, I will not demand any more water from you. Wallahi, this is true story. I experienced it. And I came to give the lecture in their masjid. And I said, brother, I will drink behind the curtain or something. I will not drink in front of the people. Even if I drink, I'm traveling. What if I'm sick? I have to drink constantly. I have to take medicine or something. Amazing, just because I'm drinking, people will stop fasting. Subhanallah. Amazing thing. Anyway, the Sahaba never, those who fasted, those who didn't in traveling didn't, and they didn't find fault with each other. ولكن بشرط أن لا يشق عليه الصوم في السفر. With the condition that it's not hard for that person to fast during traveling. فإن شق عليه أو أضر به, and if it's difficult or it harms him, فالفطر في حقه أفضل, because then it's better to break the fast. أخذا بالرخصة, to take the permission of Allah, لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the concession of Allah, رأى في السفر رجلا صائما قد ظلل عليه من شدة الحر. Because the Prophet ﷺ saw in traveling a man who was fasting and they were protecting him from the sun. Someone may say in this hadith, so what's the problem? He's fasting. They said, no sun, he can continue. The Prophet ﷺ said, فقال ليس من البر الصيام في السفر. It's not from bir to fast in traveling, meaning for someone like him, not generally. Because if it were not generally from bir, from goodness to not fast, he would not have allowed anyone to fast. But he allowed. But in the case of someone having hard time in traveling, it's not correct for them to fast. And the same applies to the sick person. The third excuse is for ladies when they have haid or nifas. Haid, we said, menstrual cycle. Nifas, postnatal bleeding. فالمرأة التي أتاها الحيض أو النفاس تفطر في رمضان وجوبا ويحرم عليها الصوم. It's not allowed for her to fast. It's wajib to break the fast. Even if it's before Maghrib by a little bit. During that, she fasted all day and then before Maghrib, 5-10 minutes, she had the period. Khalas, it's not allowed. Doesn't count. She has to break the fast. وَلَوْ صَامَتْ لَمْ يَصِحَّ مِنْهَا. In this case, if she fasts, it's not acceptable. We said about the sick and the traveler, it's okay. If they fast, they have a choice. But here, she doesn't have a choice. She must break the fast and it's not acceptable. The hadith Abi Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri is called Sa'd bin Malik bin Sinan. His name, because Abu Sa'id is kunya, because of the hadith of Abu Sa'id about the Eid. يعني when the Prophet ﷺ was talking to the ladies in the Eid, أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أليس إذا حاضت لم تصلي ولم تصم فذلك من نقصان دينها. Is it not the case, the Prophet ﷺ said, that when she has menstruation, and this also applies to postnatal bleeding because it's the same, لم تصلي ولم تصم, she doesn't pray or fast. And of course, prayer she shouldn't compensate. Fasting, what should she do? Qada. Some call it kaza. قضاء. يعني compensate. فذلك من نقصان دينها. That is from the deficiency of her deen. If someone said, well, Allah made her have menstruation and when she gives birth, the blood comes out. We say Allah does what He wills. We don't question Him. He made men not to have it. He made women to have it. He creates what He wants. And He is not asked. لا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون. You don't ask Allah why He did, why He made ladies like this, why He made men like this. That's what He wants. ويجب عليهم القضاء. عليهم القضاء. They must compensate. لقول عائشة رضي الله عنها كان يصيبنا ذلك فنؤمر بقضاء الصوم ولا نؤمر بقضاء الصلاة. So Aisha رضي الله عنها said, when we used to have that, we were told to compensate the fasting and not to compensate for the salah. Number 4, from what allows you to break the fast, also to do with ladies, is pregnancy and breastfeeding. الحمل والرضاع. فالمرأة إذا كانت حاملا أو مرضعا. So when the lady is pregnant or breastfeeding, وخافت على نفسها أو ولدها بسبب الصوم جاز لها الفطر. If she fears for herself or her child, then it's permissible for her to break the fast. لما رواه أنس رضي الله عنه قال, due to what Anas reported, may Allah be pleased with him, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, that the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, إن الله وضع عن المسافر شطر الصلاة والصوم وعن الحبلى والمرضع الصوم. Allah indeed, this actually not Anas bin Malik as far as I remember, this another Anas. I think Anas bin Mu'adh, I think. Anyway, Allah, the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah has forgave the fasting person, the traveling person, half of the prayer. Because every salah that is 4 rak'ah, when we travel, how many do we pray? 2. How about Maghrib? Maghrib is 3. We make it 2 or 4? 3, yeah? This is to confuse the student and to see if you're sleeping. Because this time, nice to sleep before iftar. Then you wake up with all the smells, in the kitchen. No. But alhamdulillah, today we have nice, better than sleep. We have fiqh. Because a person who loves ilm, for him, he never satisfied, like the Prophet ﷺ said. Yani talib ilm never satisfied. So for him, even if he doesn't eat or sleep, he loves to eat, to read and to listen to ilm. To listen even, to knowledge. So Allah forgave or removed from the traveler half of prayer and fasting, meaning he is allowed not to fast and he must compensate, and from the pregnant and breastfeeding the fasting. And if you go back to the big books like Al-Mughni, Al-Majmu' and those, you will see that they have a lot of fawaid about this hadith. And if you go also to Fath al-Bari and others, he mentions that even though this hadith is not in Bukhari or Muslim, but this is a very important hadith in relation to the hukum, to the ruling of the pregnant and breastfeeding women. وتقضي الحامل والمرضع مكان الأيام التي أفطرتاها. And here they said that the pregnant and breastfeeding women must compensate for every day that they didn't fast. So if they didn't fast 7 days, 8 days, 30 days, they must compensate, meaning qada, fast. And in Al-Mughni, Ibn Qudama rahimahullah, Al-Mughni is a book of Hanbali fiqh, but it's explanation of a small text of fiqh by Al-Khiraqi, one of the ulama of Hanbali fiqh. And Ibn Qudama decided to do sharh, explanation of that. But in it, Ibn Qudama rahimahullah said that I don't know any alim who differed with this. With what? That a pregnant and breastfeeding woman must compensate, because he said the ulama consider these two like a sick person. They couldn't fast because there is a temporary excuse or temporary sickness. And of course, then he brings the fatwa in Al-Mughni, not here. In Al-Mughni, he brings the fatwa of two of the Sahaba, Ibn Umar and Ibn Abbas, that the pregnant and breastfeeding woman must pay fidya but not fast. And some ulama said if they break the fast because of the child, they must fast and pay fidya, because the child is not part of them, especially breastfeeding. And some differentiated between pregnant and breastfeeding, as far as I remember, Imam Malik, rahimahullah. So in any case, this is the difference of opinion in relation to that, and it's better, if I believe, to follow what Ibn Qudama, rahimahullah, said in relation to all ulama being agreed that she must compensate if she can. For example, if she gives birth, then she breastfeeds. Next year she gets pregnant again when Ramadan comes, or she breastfeeds again, and it goes on like this. Of course, she can't compensate 5 Ramadans or 4 Ramadans. Imagine you multiply that by 30. It's more than the punishment or the kafara of someone who violates the fasting of Ramadan by sleeping with their wife during the daytime. And of course we will inshallah look at that. But in case we forget, then if the wife agrees, she also is guilty. Or not? What if the wife starts? It's worse. During the daytime. So it's not only the husband who can be guilty, it also can be the wife. But if the wife is afraid that if she doesn't agree to the husband, she will be beaten or something bad he will do, because some people are crazy. Even though in Ramadan you're not supposed to beat anyone. Plus you're not supposed to sleep with your wife. No, he will sleep and beat. So what's she supposed to do? Stay alive. Alhamdulillah. Some people are like this, unfortunately. Alhamdulillah, we don't have many of them. They only mentioned in books of fiqh, I think. So for that reason, I mentioned this in case you forget. So, وَذَلِكَ إِنْ خَافَتَا عَلَى نَفْسَيْهِمَا. If they fear for themselves, they compensate. فإن خافت الحامل مع ذلك على جنينها أو المرضع على رضيعهما أطعمت مع القضاء عن كل يوم مسكينا. Like I said, if they fear for the baby, then they should fast and do qada. لقول ابن عباس, because Ibn Abbas said, and Ibn Umar, as far as I remember, that they must do fidya, especially if they fear for the child. فتلخص من ذلك أن الأسباب المبيحة للفطر أربعة. So we, alhamdulillah, understand from what we have studied that there are 4 excuses for not fasting in Ramadan. 2 where the men and women share, and 2 only for women. So women have the best part even in fasting. So where do you think Islam is against the women? Show me. When they travel, they must have mahram, correct? I am a man, I like to have mahram. I don't like traveling alone. I want someone to give me tea, coffee, and go to the inquiry and information and find out everything, and I'm sitting relaxing. What's the bad about it? I don't understand. When someone is VIP, so-called very important person, and they have someone running around, they say, oh look, mashallah, I have VIP. Someone greets them, meets them, and says, please come this way and come that way. But when we do this to the woman, they say, A'udhu billah, the woman is oppressed. Where is she oppressed? Allah said every time she travels, she must have VIP service. Very Islamic person. Better than VIP, very important person. So, it's ridiculous when you analyze these things that they criticize us for. They say woman is chained to the sink. If I'm like that, chained to the sink, I will choose it anytime. Someone says, I will pay your rent, your expenses, and everything that you need. All you need to do is look after me, say a few nice words, honey, money, whatever else you want to say, and everything is sorted. I'm melted in front of you, and I give so much money, and you just say, honey, I give the money. What life is this, Yakhi? It's beautiful. You want a car, I buy. Some brothers, unfortunately, buy very good car for the wife and very bad car for themselves. I don't advise it. I don't advise it, generally. They buy 4-wheel drive Toyota Land Cruiser for the wife, and himself is Toyota Corolla. I don't advise it. But anyway, you want car, many brothers will buy car. You want this, you want that, you want business, I open business, which I also don't advise. But in any case, this is nice life. Where is the bad? I don't get it. Where is the oppression? They say she must cover. If she doesn't like, it's her choice. Everyone has a choice. فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Allah said, who wants to disbelieve, let him disbelieve. Who wants to believe, let him believe. But if you're a believer, there are rules. And you come to dinner, you can't come in shorts. Like some brothers come to Salah. Some brothers come in pajamas. So you don't know what he came to sleep or to pray. Some come in football gear. They came to play football during Salah. With beer here. Beer advertising. So the point I'm making is, where is the oppression of the women? It's nowhere. It's just people hate Islam. They want the women to be naked. So they say there's oppression. Let them be naked. I want to see everything. Why should I not be able to see anything? I want to drink khamr, they say. So why are you telling me that's not... That's your choice, no problem. But if we choose to be Muslim, we want our women to be covered exclusively for me, if it's my wife. Not everyone to see and discuss my wife. That's not nice. And I'm not supposed to see anyone else's wife and discuss and look and stuff. That's how Islam is. That's how even Christianity is. But of course now Christianity, everything halal. So that is in relation to the women. We have two excuses where they share with men, and two only for them. The first, traveling. The second, sickness. The third is menstruation and postnatal bleeding. That's third and fourth. No, third and fourth is pregnant and breastfeeding if they fear. Now, if you have any questions, we will inshallah stop here, I think, not to make you tired anymore. If you have any questions, inshallah, I will be happy to answer if I can. If not, then we will go to the next, inshallah, next week, and we will have it. Mufattiratus Sa'im, things that break the fast. Or shall we do it now? If you have energy, I can do now a little bit, but if you don't have energy, we can do later. I think later, inshallah. Yes, brother. You're not jumping up and down saying, do now, so I will do it next time. Yes, brother. Liban, I think? Yeah, mashallah. I remembered. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Yeah. Your niyyah shouldn't be to travel, not to fast. Yeah, that's a good question because ulama differed on that issue of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. I will remind you. What's your question? Is it allowed to do? Yeah, I mean, this is slightly different, I think. But in any case, I will remind you what brother is saying. A man said, gave a vow, yani another, or he gave an oath, that in the daytime of Ramadan, I will sleep with my wife. Then he came to the Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, and he said, Sheikh, I'm stuck now. What am I supposed to do? So the ulama mentioned this under the chapter, is it allowed for the mufti to look for ways out for the mustafti? Yani mustafti being the one who is asking the question, and the mufti the one answering the question. Is it allowed for the mufti to give the mustafti, look for him? Because mufti is very clever, yani should be, not stupid. Mufti should be very clever, generally. And Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, one of the cleverest people in the history of Islam. So he said to him, Sheikh, what do I do? He said, go travel with your wife. So brother is asking, does it come under the tahayul, meaning to seek ways to circumvent the fasting? And maybe someone may argue. Some ulama didn't agree with Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, because they said you are not allowed to allow these people to say that, which is true. I mean, you can't joke about Ramadan or say that I will break the fast and things like this. Or even if you say break the fast, I believe it's okay to look for a way out for this person. So it's the issue of difference. Better not to do, but if someone did, what do you do? Like someone today, I was in Rotherham near Sheffield. I did khutbah there. So I mentioned smoking in the khutbah. And people who come to the masjid after they break the fast and smoke as much as they can. Because they smoke, may Allah help them to give it up. And they wait all day. All day they're waiting. And they're going crazy. So they don't care about food. Generally. As soon as they eat something, they smoke. And when they smoke, they feel nice and relaxed, and they smoke again. And they feel more relaxed. And to be ultimately relaxed, they smoke more than 1, 2, 3, maybe, I don't know. They come to Taraweeh to kill us all. Because if you pray next to a person who smokes, may Allah help them, it's very difficult to pray. When he says, Allahu Akbar, and he breathes, you feel like a wave of illegal substances. So for that reason, I mentioned smoking. I said, brothers, if you smoke, please, may Allah help you. Don't hurt us in Taraweeh, because Taraweeh is not wajib, correct? But hurting Muslims is haram, and not hurting them is wajib. So you preferring non-wajib to wajib. And a brother came to me and said, Sheikh, I smoke and this, and I can't give up. So I said, brother, try, because he said, every time I try to give up, I can't. I said, because maybe after 4 days you will give up. You stop at 3 days. Because shaitan says what? Khalas. You can't give up. 3 days you're trying. But if you did 1 more day, Allah would help you. Or you do maybe 10 days, and 11 days is the one that you should wait for. So for that reason, we try to find ways out. If someone does haram, I believe smoking is haram. If he comes and says, what should I do? Do you say, no, keep doing haram? No. You try to find a way out for him. So from that point of view, the fatwa of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah is very nice for any mufti to consider. Wallahu a'lam. No, yes, brother. Mm.
In terms of the fidya, when can she give for Ramadan? Before Ramadan? After Ramadan?
Yeah, she can give during Ramadan if she wants to. Yeah, for the whole month, if she wants to. But in terms of diabetes, I want to advise to do hijama. Because hijama, I normally do hijama only for friends and family. Myself, I've done hijama for people who had diabetes and they got cured by the will of Allah. I've done hijama for people who had cancer and they got cured. I've done hijama for people who had cholesterol. Normally they say you can't lower cholesterol except with tablets or very rarely diet. Even diet doesn't help much. So hijama is very powerful in that. So diabetes is, if you do every month, inshallah after maybe 6 months or 1 year she will be much better. If not cured, much better. But she must not have low blood pressure. Does she have low blood pressure? Okay. In that case you have to be careful. So you don't kill her with hijama. Because if it's high blood pressure, then it's okay. Hijama will lower it. But if it's low, it may lower it too much. No. Okay, brothers, jazakumullah khaira, subhanakallahumma bihamdik, shalla astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Inshallah, we see each other next Friday.
Oh